TIMEHIN. Doc, welcome to Duke TV.
Yeah, thank you very much.
I'm glad to have you here.
My pleasure.
Yeah. So, Doc, I'm sure you heard me when I was doing the preamble.
Yeah.
I'm sure you are very familiar with the crisis in the Middle East. But the way it is now, unlike in the past, it's getting out of hand. What is your analysis of the situation? And can you confidently say this thing is just starting now, or has it dated back from ancient history?
Well, thank you very much. The crisis in the Middle East has a very long history, and that's because the Middle East is a meeting point of a lot of different kinds of civilizations. You have it as the cradle of the Jewish civilization, the Christian civilization, the Islamic civilization. And apart from that, there were ancient civilizations that predated these three other civilizations. So naturally, there should be a kind of difference in the way we perceive things. But the current crisis, particularly the Israel-Palestinian crisis and its extensions, because what actually happened recently, the most recent one, the one between Iran and Israel, is not unconnected with the Israeli-Palestinian crisis. So it has always been there. So, but the Israeli-Palestinian crisis is a very, if we must understand what is going on now, if we must understand the World War III rhetorics, we should understand the Israeli-Palestinian crisis. Unfortunately, people have given so many uninformed analyses. There are people who think it's a religious conflict. There are those who feel it's something between Christians and Muslims. You know, in fact, I have had
something racial.
Something that is racial. You know, in fact, I have had the opportunity of listening to some of our Christian brothers who felt it was a case of Palestinian Muslims and Israeli Christians, not knowing that the Palestinians were actually a mixture of Muslims and Christians, while the Israelis were primarily Jews. You know, but if we look into
Sorry, Doc, when you say Jews, does that mean they are not Christians?
They are not.
Okay.
They are not. They practice Judaism.
All right.
That is the religion of Moses.
All right.
Prophet Musa alayhi salam. So they are the Yahud, the Jews. They are not Christians. And there are two types of Jews. You have the Sephardic Jews. We call them Sephardim. Those Jews that dwelled in the Arab areas, in the Middle East and in the Far East. You know, when Nebuchadnezzar...
They are like nomadic.
Yes, when Nebuchadnezzar invaded Israel, he took them into captivity. Some were taken into the Eastern Hemisphere, some were taken into the Western Hemisphere. Those who were taken into the Eastern Hemisphere are the Sephardic Jews. The Ashkenazim Jews were the ones that were taken into the Western Hemisphere. That's why you have British Jews, French Jews, American Jews, Canadian Jews, French Jews, and what have you. So those are so the problem has always been the problem of Ashkenazim Jews, because the Ashkenazim Jews were those who gave birth to the political ideology called Zionism. So it is possible you encounter an average Jew and you have no problem with him or her, because they are just like every other person, and very resourceful, very intelligent, very brilliant set of people. But the political ideology of Zionism is really the problem here. That's the culprit. That's the ideology of dominance. Ideology, it's a kind of apartheid, you know, and that is the reason why, and that's why you see a lot of people reacting in recent times. In the past, they have had a free day, they have continued to oppress people. Nobody reacted. So we were all at the mercy of the media. But because of the social media, because of the development of the information technology, we have access to a lot of information now. We now know that there are people within Israel who are not Zionists. We now know that there are so many Jews out there in the Western world who do not subscribe to the ideology of hate called Zionism. So historically, when you talk about the crisis in